From experience, there is no such thing as a geographical cure. Does everybody know that? Okay. Long story short, after I graduated school, I came back home and life was a complete mess. That's before I was a Christian, by the way. So I just thought, well, I will go travel back to Arizona and everything will be just peachy keen, right? All it did was just double the problems that I had because I was still there. You know that old brilliant adage, wherever you go, there you are. It sounds really silly. It's so true. It doesn't really matter. Your sin will find you. God will find you. You cannot escape from him. But Jonah hated Nineveh. Why would he want to go there? That's like if I said, all right, I'm going to send you to Syria, and I want you to go preach to all those ISIS folks about how what they're doing is making God angry and that their behavior is important. Would you be willing to do that right away? Exactly. Right. Or it's like a Jewish person living in the 1940s. Go talk to the Nazis. Go preach to them and telling them what they're doing is sinful. Now we kind of know what Jonah's world is all about, and it's not that simple. I think Jonah wanted God to destroy Nineveh. And as we'll find out, not spoiler alert, right? You probably know this. He does not. He offers mercy. Let me ask you, be honest. Do you secretly or even overtly relish the fact that some people are hellbound? Does that make you happy? Okay. When we preach, when we go out into the world, we have to include forgiveness in the message. Okay? We get so lost in the details. But forgiveness is so important. Anybody who's ever read anything about Christ knows that forgiveness is key. Grace. I mean, have you received any second chances lately? Any third chances? Any 33rd chances? Of course. Absolutely. God is always chiseling away at you. So as we start to land the plane here, right now, this is the most important part of your week. No, it's not because I'm preaching. It's because we are here worshiping God. Nothing to do with the preacher. It has everything to do with him. If you're a football player and you're in the locker room right before the game and you're getting all excited, then you go out and you take the field. Or if you're a Broadway singer and you're backstage and you're about to go on the stage, you get excited because that's their kind of worship, if you will. Well, this is our time because eventually we are going to walk out of this building. We're going to exit the doors and we're going to have to go. No, I'm not saying you need to go knock on people's doors like you did a few decades ago. That's not what it is. But it starts small. And I tell you, go. Please, go. Go into the world, not to entertain people, not to be people's friends, not to be politically correct, not to bring people to church because we have bells, whistles, and rock bands. Let other churches worry about that. That's up to them. What we want to do is simplify things and go make disciples. You tell them about the gospel. It's not a gimmick. There's nothing gimmicky about what Jesus did, and there's certainly nothing gimmicky about people's salvation. God reigns. Jesus triumphs over sin, over judgment, over death, over guilt, over Satan, over fear. That is good news. Well, maybe you're one of those people who don't like to talk, and that's fine. Well, I let my attitudes and my actions kind of speak for myself, and, people can see Jesus that way. Maybe you're thinking that. And I would say, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Man, if you're living the right way, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, tell people about it. Your silence isn't serving anyone. Your modesty, which is not a bad trait, but it's not helping gain people for God's kingdom. Let me give you an assignment this week, and it's a very simple one. I'm pretty sure every single person here has a Facebook account, or just about. Today, maybe tomorrow, post a Bible verse, any Bible verse that means something to you on your little Facebook wall, or whatever they call it. Put it up there. Copy and paste it. And then underneath, just a quick 5, 6, 7 word response. Why this is important to me. Just do it. If you're afraid to go talk to someone, just do that. If nothing else, I promise you will get someone's attention. Even if you don't, at least people know, okay, this is what I believe. Or, dare I say, go and actually talk to someone. Start small. Start small. You don't have to knock on doors. Maybe there's someone at work who you see is struggling. Maybe there's someone in your family, one of your friends that just having a rough day. That's a door for you to open and talk to them. You see this thing right here? You want to know what I figured out? You can actually make calls on it. Who knew, right? All this time, I thought it was just for Facebook and texting and looking at scores. You can actually call people. I know, my sarcasm meter is like way high this week. But it is. But I'm very fired up about this, and you should be too. Contact someone. This doesn't have to be a 50-pound weight. Okay? How are you doing? Let me tell you about this event that's going on in my church in 2 weeks. And you've got a perfect opportunity to talk about what's going on. And hey, mention food if you have to. Food happens to sell. We all know that. But look, plant a seed. Edify the seed. You don't have to simply survive as a Christian. You need to thrive. Seriously, do you want to be someone who blends in or stands out? And I understand we don't all have the same personalities. I get that. But I truly believe that we are too talented to hide. And we're not doing any favors when we shy away from contact. If you think you're just a normal person, just an ordinary fella, well, you know what? I got good news for you. You know why there are so many ordinary people in the world? Because that's what God works with. We're all, quote-unquote, normal, ordinary. Ordinary people do extraordinary things every day, not because of us, but because of Him, and we get to glorify Him whenever something good happens to us. It's the Great Commission. We're all familiar with that. It is not, to the best of my recollection, the Great Suggestion. Okay? And the way I see it, you've got three choices. You can go, you can send someone else, or you can just disobey God. Now, I don't need to tell you that the second and third choices are really lame and aren't going to get us anywhere. One choice I did not say is complete ignorance. Do not ignore the Great Commission. That is not an option whatsoever. Go out into the world and make disciples of all nations. That's it. You don't need to have a theological degree to do it. Just plant the seed. And this is what Jonah did not understand. Matthew 24:14 tells us that the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world. Not just in New Lenox, not just in the Midwest, in the whole world. Salvation comes from judgment and mercy, and Jesus supplies us with this. If we are inside Israel, if we are outside Israel, as long as we call on His name, and if you've not been baptized, now is your time. Think about this. Now is your time to go and call on His name. Understand what He can do with you. And when we read the Old Testament passages, please see Jesus in the words, in the redemptive love, in the sacrificial lamb. See Him as the divine heartbeat that pushes the Old Testament into the New. Folks, it's time to wake up. Whether you're a Christian or whether you're not. God is a merciful and gracious God. He does not want anyone to perish. The Lord wants everyone to come to repentance. So I pray, just like God said to Joshua, be strong, be courageous, and do not be afraid. We'll stand and sing.
When we walk with the Lord in the light of